It's March 15th, 2020, and it's time for another episode of AMA Air. Coming up today, we're going to tell you about some tiny drones flying around at the National Museum of the United States Air Force.
And we're going to bring you some cool stuff from the April digital edition of Model Aviation.
And stick around for the end of the show. We've got some important updates on this year's Toledo RC show. All that and more on today's episode of AMA Air. Hello again, everybody. Welcome to another episode of AMA Air. My name is Matt Ruddick.
And I'm Claire Oldenheisen.
Claire, how was your week?
It was fantastic.
I heard you took another trip.
I did. Well, it was my birthday. And
okay, that's
what
fair.
do you do for your birthday? You go to Disney World. So I went back.
Well, I hope you had a great time.
I did. It was nice and warm. I got to wear shorts. I got to eat ice cream. I wasn't freezing to death. So I had a great time.
Well, that's very cool. I also had a pretty good week. Had a good time at a specific event that happened a couple of weeks ago.
At one of my favorite museums.
Absolutely. So there was the micro drone race at the National Museum of the United States Air Force that I got to participate in.
That's just the coolest thing.
Our producer Dylan also was present for that as well.
I didn't know that.
So we got to go. We got to race tiny whoops. Now, if you guys don't know what a tiny whoop is, that's kind of the Kleenex of these micro drones. It's kind of
Yeah.
like the general name we use. But they're about 20 grams in weight. They're about
fit in
that
the palm
big.
of your hand. They're very small.
Made out of plastic, ducted.
We should have brought one.
We should have. Ducted props, essentially. So no risk to anything in the museum. But we got to fly all around the exhibit floor, around the C-124, the big cargo plane that they've got on display there. We got to fly around an F-82 there as well. Just an amazing time. There were thousands of people that came to watch.
I would have been there
fun.
if I had not been at Disney World.
Yeah, well,
I would have gone.
The priorities, I get it. But if you want to learn more about that event, that micro drone race, we actually did a podcast with the race director that dropped just this past week. It's episode number 25 of the AMA podcast.
There have already been 25 episodes?
There have.
Oh my gosh.
I know, tell me about it. Episode 25 with Kelly Stanley, he was the race director for that. You can head over to modelaircraft.org/podcast to check that out. And if you want to see kind of what from the museum's point of view, the National Museum of the United States Air Force, you can go to their website, nationalmuseum.af.mil. They had tons of pictures and videos.
I was following on Facebook. They have a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, they were very supportive, and we want to thank those guys at the museum for all the support they gave for that event as well.
Absolutely. So, a new federal holiday actually has been established. It is going to be National Vietnam War Veterans Day coming up on March 29th. And AMA Government Affairs Director Tyler Dobbs actually, while he was in D.C., went to the Vietnam Veterans Memorial to thank all of our servicemen and women for their service.
It's because of you, as well as all the retired and active military personnel, that we get to enjoy all the great things this country has to offer. AMA would like to say thank you for your service and for your sacrifice.
Well, do you want to make your mark on the hobby? That's the question that the AMA Foundation is asking with their new endowment campaign called Where Will You Land? So they've worked with local students here at Ball State University to produce a series of videos that are going to be released over the next couple of months, telling you all about this new campaign where you're going to get the opportunity to donate to the AMA Foundation through this endowment campaign and get your name put on different areas at the International Air Modeling Center.
Exactly. So we have 9 flying sites. You might be able to donate, have your name placed at one of those. The building is actually part of that. The AMA Pond, if you're a fan of RC boats, for example. But it's a really great campaign. I'm really excited about it. The money that goes towards the endowment helps fund scholarships, grants, programming, all kinds of good stuff so that we can keep bringing you guys the quality content that we're working on here.
Absolutely. So you can learn more about that. Again, we're going to be releasing these videos There are 3 videos that are going to come out, one in April, one in May, one in June. And you can see all of that stuff and get all that information over at modelaircraft.org/land. Again, that's for the Where Will You Land campaign. Well, coming up after the break, we're going to show you a club down in Tennessee who's doing a runway rebuild.
And another great story from IFLYAMA with the Clovis area modelers.
And we're going to give you a little taste of what's coming up in this next month's Model Aviation Digital Edition. Stick around.
Model flying is more than just a hobby. It's also a unique teaching tool, a celebration of flight and aviation, and an activity that has encouraged hundreds of thousands to learn, build, and develop skills in many different disciplines. The AMA Foundation Endowment was established to benefit the model flying community today and in the future by providing funding for future model aviators, teachers, and students of all ages. Join us as we premiere a series of videos that were produced by students at Ball State University. The 3 videos are all different, but tell the story of model aviation and the AMA Foundation's work to build an endowment that will continue to sustain programs into the future. Those who contribute to the AMA Foundation Endowment Fund by purchasing a naming opportunity over $10,000 will have the opportunity to share their story, a story in memory of a loved one, or a company story with the model flying community in a special edition of Model Aviation next year and on the AMA Foundation website. We hope you will join us in our efforts to build an endowment that will provide funding for programs for years to come. Contact us today and tell us where you will land at AMA's International Aero Modeling Center.
Well, it's that time of the show where we get to talk a little bit about the IFLYAMA Facebook group and some of the cool things we found.
My favorite Facebook group.
So I'll kick this off. There was a really cool post by a gentleman by the name of Kevin Turner. He's a friend of a few of us. We've known him for a while, and he's a member of the Blount County Model Aviators. Want to make sure I get that right. And they're actually working right now, over this last week, to put in a brand new runway at their flying site. Now, they fly actually off of an old landfill where they can't use pavement runways.
Right.
So they're doing something out there, which we've talked about here at the AMA on some of our various channels in the past, which is geotextiles. And it's a piece of fabric runway.
We actually have some examples of it here on site.
Yeah.
It's actually really cool.
Absolutely. It's a great inexpensive alternative to a paved runway and that sort of thing. Here's the cool thing about what they're doing at their site. This runway is 425 feet by 45 feet. So it's a huge runway that they're putting in. And again, it's all made out of this fabric, this high density, high durable fabric that they've put in. Again, and it took them 6 hours to install, and that's it.
Wow.
And it's, again, like I said, it's inexpensive. They actually used their club dues to pay for it, so it wasn't something this extravagant cost. But what's awesome about some of the things that we're able to help clubs out with is if you want to put one of these in, you can apply to get one of our AMA Flying Site Improvement Grants.
Exactly.
You can go over to modelaircraft.org/site-grant to learn more about that. The grant application process right now is actually closed for 2020.
But in October
That's right.
is when you're going to be able to apply once again. And, look for those great ideas on IFLYAMA. That's not even the only runway post that has been posted recently.
Yeah.
There's been a couple site improvements where they're updating the runways, so I think that's really cool.
Absolutely. So go check that out on the IFLYAMA Facebook group for sure. Claire, what did you find?
So I found this great youth event set up by the Clovis area modelers. They had this huge Model Aviation Day. They had flight sims. They had buddy boxing. They had a ton of kids out there learning to fly. There were 7 planes in the air at the same time. It sounded really cool, and I mean, I wish I had been there, honestly. Like, it just seemed like the funnest event, and I love seeing kids get involved in aviation.
Yeah.
You know, that's part of my job here at the AMA is working with kids and getting them excited about aviation. And to have these clubs, you know, take that initiative and bring the joy of it to their local kids, I just think that's awesome.
That's the best
I love
part.
it. I love it so much.
That's the best part. Maybe we need to take a trip out to the Clovis
I think we should.
Well, again, you guys, you can see all of these stories and posts and more at IFLYAMA on Facebook. It's the facebook.com/groups/IFLYAMA is the URL to go straight to that. So go check it out today. You don't know what you're missing. Well, coming up after the break, we're going to give you some more details on this month's Model Aviation Digital Edition.
And we have an important Toledo Show announcement for you.
And we've got some important AMA advocacy updates. All that and more after this break.
Hi, Jay Smith, Executive Editor of Model Aviation and Park Pilot, and you can check out the April edition of Model Aviation Digital right now, where you can find a review of all the Spectrum Smart products I have here in front of me. And there's really a special feature with Spectrum Smart where it can auto-discharge your battery. So be sure to read the review and learn more about that valuable feature. Check it out at modelaviation.com/digital.
Well, the April Model Aviation Digital Edition is live today.
Right now.
On March 15th, it goes live. So we've got all sorts of cool stuff in there. As you saw, we're going to be bringing you a story on the Spectrum Smart technology from Model Aviation Executive Editor Jay Smith. We're going to see a review on the Elite Aerosports Havoc by Andrew Griffith. It's an awesome airplane. If you haven't seen that yet, you're going to really enjoy checking that out. And hey, you might even find an article in there written by yours truly about RC podcasting.
Oh my gosh.
I
can't wait.
You can see all of those stories over at modelaviation.com/digital.
We just want to keep you guys updated. The AMA is working for you.
We're working with you too.
We're working with you too. Absolutely. Thank you, Matt. So AMA Government Affairs Director Tyler Dobbs is in DC with an update for you.
Hello, Tyler Dobbs with AMA Government Affairs. I'd like to thank everybody for commenting on the proposed rule for remote ID. While the FAA's comment period ended on March 2nd, AMA's work did not. We're in DC, we're continuing our meetings with the aviation subcommittees, the committees in charge of FAA oversight, and we're taking AMA's proposals and the changes that we would like to see to each member and sharing those with the offices. The proposed rule, as most of you know, just doesn't make sense for our community, and we'll continue to try to change that and shape that until the final rule comes out. We appreciate everybody's support. We appreciate the support of those within the AMA coalition, and we'll continue working on behalf of our membership. Thank you.
Well, on a slightly more serious note, the Toledo RC Expo, which has been a staple every year for modelers.
65 years.
Yeah, absolutely. They've put out an announcement just in the last couple of days that they are canceling this year's show due to health concerns. They put out a statement, part of which reads, "It is of the utmost concern that our exhibitors and guests are safe from any potential exposure and illness, and we just can't predict what the weeks to come will produce. It just isn't worth it to risk the health of any of our RC family." Now, here's the bright side to this story. The Toledo RC show will resume back in 2021.
It'll be back.
They're going to start planning that very soon, but unfortunately for 2020, the show unfortunately cannot go on this year. You can follow more updates from the Toledo Show at toledoshow.com as well. Well, that's it for this week's episode of AMA Air. We want to thank you guys so much for watching.
Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And if you haven't already, hit that notification bell so you can see all of our videos when they post.
And if you haven't joined the AMA yet, head over to modelaircraft.org/join, see what the AMA can do for you. We've got all sorts of cool programs and things that you can see there. And for everybody here at the AMA, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.